You're listening to Ideal Practice, episode number 118. One of the hardest things that we have to learn when we start a private practice is that we actually have to market ourselves. Yeah, well, I don't know about you, but I didn't take any marketing classes in grad school. Did you? Of course not, because I didn't care about business. Well, because we didn't have those kinds of classes and whatever training you probably have been through, there are a handful of really common marketing mistakes that it's just really easy to make if nobody's ever told you otherwise. How are you supposed to know, right? Well, today, my friends, I've got your back. I'm going to tell you about 7 of the most common mistakes that I see all the time among private practice owners. I'm going to tell you what not to do and what to do instead. This is going to be really helpful. So, stay tuned. Hi, I'm Wendy Pitts-Reeves, and with over 2 decades of experience in the private practice world, I've built my 6-figure business while learning a lot of lessons the hard way. This is the first podcast that shows you how to apply the principles of energy, alignment, and strategy to build a practice that is profit-centered, but people-forward. This is the Ideal Practice Podcast. Hey guys, and welcome back. This is Wendy Pitts-Reeves, your host here at Ideal Practice. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the show. I love hanging out with you guys every week. This is absolutely one of my favorite things to do in the whole wide world. Never had any idea how much fun this was going to be until I got into it, but it is. And I love hearing from you. Are you guys checking out the new link that I've got in the show notes? It's right at the top of the show notes that are right below this episode in your podcast app, wherever you're hearing this. I've got a link there that you can use to text me directly and tell me exactly what's on your mind. For instance, what did you think about last week's episode when I interviewed Faith Day about the impact of video and all the cool ways you can use video to market your practice? Have you guys heard that one? She is really, really delightful. I love that woman. And I felt like she had so much good stuff to share. If you haven't heard that, go back and check that one out because it might make you a little squirmy, but it might be that after you hear what Faith had to say, you'll feel better about it, right? And thinking about marketing, honestly, video is a really great way to tap into that. But I digress. Use that text link that's in the show notes, no matter where you're listening to this, to tell me what you think about the episode that you just heard, to ask questions if there are clarifying questions or things you want to know more about in relation to what you just heard, or for that matter, if there's something I haven't talked about that you want me to cover, or if there's a guest you think I should have on the podcast, by all means, use that text to let me know. I love the fact that you and I can now communicate directly with each other. That just makes me really happy. And that is a thank you to Buzzsprout, which is the platform that I use to host my podcast. Shout out to Buzzsprout. Thank you to them for adding that functionality to this platform. I love it. And I love getting your texts, so reach out to me. So let's talk about 7, at least, I might come up with 1 or 2 more, of the more common marketing mistakes that you really don't want to make. All right. And I want to start with this principle, this concept to sort of set this up. There's a common principle in the business world that says a confused mind never buys. A confused mind never buys. That is a long-standing bit of business wisdom. And if you're not sure what I mean by that, think about this. What's your favorite restaurant? Not for dinner, but for breakfast, for lunch. It might be a fast food joint. It might be the local coffee shop. Odds are it's a place that you have visited so often, you've practically memorized the menu. Here in the town that I live, it's Vienna Coffee. Shout out to the locals. that is the happening place in town for folks to meet all the time. I don't know what it's going to be where you are. But it's possible that if you have your favorite place, you're going to walk in the door and say, I already know what I want. I want one of your spinach artichoke soufflés today, okay? Have you got any left? And if you recognize that one, tell me in the comments or with the text. Why do you keep going back? Well, there's probably a variety of reasons. One of them is probably this. The environment suits you. It's just the kind of place that you and other people with your kind of taste like. Maybe it's country cozy. Maybe it's kind of dark and full of random furniture that's been salvaged in an interesting way. Maybe it's really sleek and minimalist and kind of urban. Whatever it is, it fits your personal style in a way that you value. Maybe it's not about the environment. Maybe it's just their food really suits you. Perhaps it's organic with lots of vegan and gluten-free options. Maybe it's country fried Southern comfort. I don't know. Whatever it is, though, it fits your personal tastes in a way that is just delightful. It's delicious. It's so good, right? Maybe it's that their schedule works for you. Whether that's a smoothie after your 5 a.m. run, you crazy person, or a quick bite for your on-the-go lunch. I'm really reaching out to the locals today. When I ran Cove Mountain, the group practice, we knew that Los Amigos, one of our favorite local Mexican restaurants, we got plenty of good ones to choose from, but we knew that no matter how busy they were, even with a group of like 6 or 8 of us, we could get to Los Amigos and get in and out within an hour. Don't you know that was one of our favorite places? Of course it was. Well, whatever the schedule is of your favorite place, it might be that you know that you can count on them to be there when you want them to be in the way you need them to be. Well, do you see a pattern here? On the other hand, think about the restaurants that have a menu that's 10 pages long and 400 options, and it takes you forever to pick something out. Or that every time you go, their hours seem to be changing. Or that even the food's great and the schedule's good, but it just doesn't feel good to be in that space because they've got lots of hard surfaces and it's really echoey and noisy and you can hardly hear yourself think. Think about the difference here. There is a pattern. There is a pattern. Effective marketing and a successful business makes it easy for you to recognize, understand, make use of, relate to, and buy the products that are right for you or the services. Well, if you have something that isn't selling, if you have a service, if you have a program, if you have something that no one's attending, or you've got content that nobody's reading, or you've got a service that people aren't buying, it could be not because you're not awesome at what you do and not because there's not plenty of people out there who could benefit from what you do. It could, my friends, simply be a marketing issue. It could be that your marketing isn't clear and that your potential clients, your ideal clients, the people you love who you know, if you could ever work with them, would love you too. It could be that they are just confused. A confused mind never buys. So let's talk through 7 of the most common marketing mistakes that well-intended entrepreneurs do all the time that kind of leave their potential clients kind of scratching their heads. All right, I'm going to talk this through as if I was one of your people, as if I need what you have. I need what you have. I just don't know it yet because I haven't met you and I don't really know you, right? So I'm going to talk about some of the mistakes that you might be making that are making it hard for me to hire you. Mistake number 1. I don't really know who you're talking to. Like, who are you talking to me? Or are you talking to my neighbor? Are you talking to my best friend? Are you talking to like all of us? Because when I read your website or I study what you sell or what you say you do, how can I tell that you're talking to me And how would I know if you weren't? How would I know? So this is mistake number 1, is to not be clear about your ideal client, my friends. And to put it bluntly, it's about your niche. So this is really interesting. This just happened just yesterday. I was doing some work around the house, and I was listening to podcasts, and I listened to a podcast by Allison Puryear. Y'all know her. She's one of the big names in our field. And Allison was coaching somebody on her podcast yesterday where the therapist had just moved to a new area, had a very successful practice in another geographic location, but was starting over after coming back from maternity leave in a new community. And so Allison was asking her first question in terms of getting back to basics to start your practice. Who's your niche? Which is another way of saying, who's your ideal client? Well, this therapist was saying that she loved 2 different things. One, she loved working with people who were struggling in relationships, adults who were having relationship problems. And the other is she kind of had a developing interest in pelvic floor pain and helping women who were dealing with that. Completely unrelated, right? Well, Allison started asking her questions like, so what kind of relationship problems do you like working with? Well, I really kind of like working with people who are dealing with narcissists in their lives. Maybe they're married to a narcissist, or they're in partnership with someone who's narcissistic, or maybe they were raised by a narcissist, or they were parented. And Allison's like, well, which one of those do you really enjoy the most? Well, I really love working with people who were raised by a narcissist because it's so complicated and there's so much to unpack around that, and it can make such a difference when you help people identify those problems and those patterns. And Allison was like, so how would they know that? And where would these people know that they were raised by that? Well, no, not necessarily. Okay, so what are the symptoms or problems that they tend to have that would help you know this? Well, a lot of them have somatic problems. A lot of them have physical illnesses, stomach problems, autoimmune issues, pelvic floor pain. How about that? So in a matter of very quickly, with a little bit of coaching, this therapist was able to narrow it down from this sort of general, I work with adults who have relationship problems. Well, y'all, that's everybody. To a very specific niche. I work with adults who are experiencing somatic symptoms that are causing a lot of distress that might be impacting their intimate relationships and could possibly be due to being raised in a household with a narcissistic parent. May not be, but could be. Instantly, the marketing is going to shift just from her identifying that. Mistake number 1, I don't know who you're talking to. And I need to know that I'm either with you or I'm not with you. And knowing that I'm not what you are focused on, that's fine. That helps me too. Okay? That's mistake number 1. Fuzzy messaging about who you serve. Mistake number 2, I can't tell what you actually do. I mean, I know that you're all about helping me find my inner wisdom, but what does that mean? What kind of problems do you actually help solve, and how are you going to help me? If I call you, hire you, buy your course, come to your class or your group, work with you one-on-one, what kind of results am I going to get? What kind of problems are you going to help me actually solve? Well, y'all, let's just use that example I just started with. Let's say that therapist who quickly identified that she really loves working with adults who probably have somatic problems that are in direct relation to having been raised by narcissistic parents or a narcissistic caregiver, and who may very well be having intimate relationship issues that could all be stemming from the same thing. Well, one of the problems that she might help people solve is helping them unpack what's going on with their bodies that could be impacting their intimate relationships, helping them identify underlying emotional factors that could be making it harder to heal. Not talking about minimizing or dismissing very real physical pain, but helping them learn to understand the connection between their lived experience, the way their body is communicating with them, and how that is being played out in their day-to-day relationships. Wow. So you mean my relationship with my partner could get better because you can help me understand what the heck is going on in my belly? Okay, that's interesting. Sounds kind of crazy, but wow, I feel like you're talking to me. Mistake number 2 is being fuzzy about the difference that you make for people. I don't mean that you do EMDR. I mean that you help people get their nights back where they can sleep again, that the nightmares go away, that they don't freak out when their partner reaches out to them, that their startle response soothes, that they actually can concentrate even during times of stress. That's mistake number 2, is not being clear about that. Mistake number 3, I don't really know you at all. You're just one of 50 names I've looked at online today. What do you stand for? What are you all about, really? Like, what kind of person are you? Why should I trust you? Can you relate to me? Are you going to get me and where I'm coming from? Because, I don't really think anybody does. I feel a little bit like I'm a unicorn and nobody really understands me. That's just the truth. I think I'm too much for people. Or maybe it's not that I don't think anybody understands me. Maybe it's that I just want to know, maybe do you offer something different that I didn't even realize I needed? So this therapist who had just come back from maternity leave, as she was just talking in general about what she was interested in, she said that this new interest in somatic complaints was related in some way to her own personal lived experience. She didn't go into that. I don't know what it was, nor do I need to know. But I want to ask you, are there personal lived experiences that help inform your work? You don't have to say what those are, but you can speak in a way where I know that you get me, because I can just tell from the things that you're saying that you get me, right? So y'all, last week I mentioned, I asked you if you heard last week's episode where Faith Day was talking about the use of video. If you had a video on your homepage that is just for, 3 to 5 minutes long of you talking a little bit about your practice, that's a great place to tell people a little bit about your why. Remember, we talked about that back in episode 116. That would be a great place that would also help people get a sense of you. There's nothing like video for people to get a sense of your smile, your easy energy, your calm demeanor, your sense of humor, that you're a little wacky, whatever it is about you that makes you you. Your ideal clients are going to love that about you, and there's nothing like a video to help them figure that out. But even if you don't do that, somehow or another, I need to know you. And your marketing, your copy, your messaging, whether it's your website, emails, social media posts, however you're doing it, I want to have a sense of you as a human being. Don't give me your credentials. I want to know you. And I want to know that you get me. Okay. Mistake number 4. There's a million people out there. I've looked at a whole lot of websites. I can't even recognize you. I don't recognize you when I see you. Like, I'm so lost. I don't get it. When I see the golden arches somewhere, I know there's a McDonald's close by. But when I see a social media post or an article that you wrote or an ad from you, it looks different every time. I keep forgetting that it's you. I don't even realize it's you. That's probably because you use a different color every time in your header, or you use a different tagline, or your title keeps changing, or how you describe what you do. I don't know. It's a little confusing. So this is a mistake, y'all, that I actually don't normally talk about very much, because there's a lot of misconceptions around the concept of your visual brand. I actually feel like sometimes we put too much emphasis on this. A lot of people think marketing, it means coming up with a logo. Well, no, it doesn't. It's a whole lot more than that. That said, there is something good about designing a clear visual brand that you use all the time. Now, if you work with a professional, a marketing professional at some point, you should come away with a style guide. It's like a PDF, an ebook that has maybe 2 fonts, maybe 3 to 5 colors, a couple of main ones, and then 2 or 3 support ones. Very specific with a hex number, which is a very specific color number, and a host of other things that is your go-to whenever you are creating something for the public. Now, you can't do that if you're just, you're posting on Facebook, but you can if you're designing graphics, memes, right? They should have a certain look. So when people see that in their feed, it begins to plant something for them, right? When I had that group practice, I spent money getting a really good logo designed for it, and I worked with a graphic expert, and I knew enough about logos at that point to know what I was looking for. And that peak, we didn't go nearly as far as we should have, honestly, with that. But when you have a visual pattern, even if I'm looking at a whole lot of stuff, I recognize your stuff when I see you, and that's going to help me. Okay. Mistake number 5. Now, this is getting into stuff that's a little bit more advanced, but here I want to dive into the relationship that you're building with your clients, with your active clients, or more importantly, those who want to or could become an active client. Mistake number 5 is I almost forgot who you were. I haven't heard from you in so long. Like, I know we met somewhere along the way. I can't remember if it was at a networking or maybe you gave a talk at my church, or maybe it was an ad you had on Facebook that I tapped into. I can't remember. Somewhere along the way, I landed on your mailing list. But you know what? I think you sent me an article or two, but it was like a few months ago, right? I don't even remember what it was about, to be honest. You said in that email that you sent me that I signed up for something that you were giving away. Did I? Was it like what was that? Did you have like a tip sheet, a checklist, some kind of a self-care routine that I downloaded? I don't remember. But, of course, I get things like that all the time, right? I'm like you. We're all online. I get all kinds of free stuff online, right? But I don't remember which one you were. So tell me again, who are you and what exactly do you do? Okay, guys. My point here is your marketing means your communication with your audience. And your audience is a pool of potential clients who in one way or another fit the type of ideal client that you want to serve, that niche that I mentioned at the beginning. When you are in regular contact with them, and I'll say what I mean by that, you are developing a relationship over time. Think about it like a friendship. If you only called your closest 2 or 3 friends like 3 times a year, they're not going to be your closest friends for long. Unless you have a history with them, of course. But when you're just getting to know somebody, you meet them somewhere and then you don't talk to them for 6 months, they may not even remember ever meeting you at all. So you give a talk and you get names and put them on your mailing list. You have people who call you about your services. Maybe they're not ready to come in right now, but they might want to be later. With their permission, you add them to a mailing list. Maybe referrals send people to you, and with their permission, you get them on a mailing list. Maybe you post something on Facebook and you invite people to sign up for your mailing list in return for a free gift of some sort, a tool, a worksheet, a guide of some sort, right? But if you get them on your list and then you never talk to them again, or it's completely random and really weird and really spaced out, they're not going to remember you. You're just one of 1,000 emails they get that mean nothing to them. So the point here is get people on an email list with their permission and stay in touch with them in a regular way. Ideally, that's every day on Facebook or on Instagram or on LinkedIn. But it's at least every couple of weeks by email, maybe every week. I don't care. Honestly, if it's once a month, that's okay. But I really feel like it needs to be more than that. But do it often enough that they don't forget you in between. All right. So that when your stuff shows up, they're like, oh, I remember her. Yeah, I'm interested in her. What has she got to teach me this week? She always has such good tips. I'm going to read this. That's mistake number 5. Help me remember who you are, because I've heard from you enough now that I know. Mistake number 6. This is a little more abstract. This is harder, but it's an important one. And that is, you haven't told me why I should care. I mean, I get that you're a nice person, and I'm sure you're good at what you do. If I understood exactly what that is, like what is EMDR? I don't even know. What is hypnotherapy? That's a little freaky. What is the Eden energy method? I don't know. But I'm sure it's fine. But you know what? I'm pretty busy, and I get hundreds of sales emails every week. So why should I care about you and what you do? All right, this tags in with what I just said about being in regular contact. But I also want you not to be wishy-washy about what you do, about the difference you make, about the quality, the power of how you help. If you're the best thing since sliced bread, my friend, say so. And I'm not saying get out there and say I'm the best thing. But I want you to lead. I want you to speak definitively. You can use case studies. You can use testimonials. There's lots of ways to do this. But make it crystal clear how you can impact my life in a tangible way and how you are the reason. You are the one I should talk to, because what you do is fantastic. Tell me that. And then finally, I'm going to let me do a quick review here. So before I go to the last one, let me say this really quick. So what did I say? I said a confused mind never buys. So that means, number 1, I need to know that you're talking to me and not to everyone around me. Number 2, I need to know what you actually do, what the problems are, what the results are that I'm going to get when I work with you. Number 3, I want to have a sense of you as a human being. Number 4, I want to be able to recognize you in a crowd. I want to be able to know when I see your stuff online or in my inbox. I want to recognize your patterns in a way so that I don't miss you. Number 5, I want to hear from you often enough that I don't think you've forgotten me and then I remember you. Number 6, I want to know that you really are good at what you do, and that if I was smart, I would reach out to you a little bit closer, right? And then number 7, let's say you've done all that, and I'm looking at your website or I'm reading your email, but I don't know how to reach you. I don't know what you want me to do next. Okay, you've got my attention. I'm listening. I'm curious. I'm interested. I kind of like what you're doing here. But what do I do now? Am I supposed to click somewhere on this page? Am I supposed to call some number somewhere? Like, what do you do? Do we talk on the phone? Do I send you a text? Is there where's the starting point? How do I get my questions answered? What do I do next? The point here is, give me a very clear call to action. Don't tell me 10 things to do. Don't tell me 3. Tell me 1. Do this one thing. It might be, see that great big phone number at the top of the page? Call that. Leave me a voicemail and I'll call you back. It might be, see this great big button here? Click that and fill out this little form, and I'll be back in touch within 2 days and we'll talk. It might be, just hit reply and email me back and tell me what's going on and what you're looking for, and I'll answer you. Whatever it is, give me one thing to do. 1. All right. I could keep going, but that's plenty. Y'all, whenever you are writing any kind of content for your business, anything that is your way of connecting with a potential client, it's a website, it's a launch, it's an email you want to send, always, 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 always look at it from the point of view of a stranger in another state or in another town in your state who really knows nothing about who you are or what you offer. Like, you cross their radar somewhere along the way, but they really don't know you, or all they know is somebody gave them your name. Are you answering the questions that are in their heads? That's what I've given you today. If you're not sure, one thing you could do is ask a friend to ask a friend, somebody that you don't know, to look at your website or to read a couple of your emails and see what that stranger, what they felt about it. You could do that through a friend of a friend. Another way to do that is to look at the marketing that you're seeing that's popping up in your own inbox this week. Look at the stuff that you're getting. Which ones catch your attention? Which ones do you find yourself going back to over and over again because you recognize their pattern, because you know they're talking to you, because you like what they have to say, because there's something about them, their energy, that is really appealing to you? Use this same list of items that I just went through to evaluate them. Are they speaking just to you? Do you have a sense of them, who they are? Do you know what they do, the results that they're delivering to their clients? You can pick them out of your email list? They're standing out in some way, right? Study that, because that alone will teach you something, right? And then make sure you're doing that yourself in your own copy. And if you really, really want help with that, guys, I say this all the time. I'm happy to review some of this with you. I'm happy to do kind of an audit with you. I would be happy to spend an hour and a half sitting down with you and looking through your website or reading through some of your more common emails to see if I think you're doing this. I would love to coach you with some of that. The easiest way to do that is to try a quick start consult with me. A quick start consult is an easy one-time 90-minute where we sit down together and do this kind of work together. You can learn all about that over on wendypittsreeves.com/consult. That's a great way to do this kind of work. All right. That's what I've got for you today. I know I have thrown a lot at you. This is the kind of stuff I work with people on for 6 months to a year. It's the kind of thing we work on inside my Evolve Mastermind, right? So this is not easy. A lot of it is sort of abstract, and it takes a while to start to catch it. But I've given you a really, really good introduction today, and you can make some progress just using what I've given you today. Ask yourself the questions that I've asked you today and see what kind of answers you come up with. All right, everyone. I hope that's useful. I hope you will do something with it, and I would love to hear from you about what you think and how this is going for you. Have a great week, everybody, and I will see you next week right here, same time, same place, on Ideal Practice. Bye now. Hey, y'all. If this program has become important to you, if Ideal Practice matters, it would mean so much to me if you'd be willing to take just a minute to do one or two of the following things. First of all, would you follow or subscribe to the show here at Ideal Practice? Following me helps you because you'll never miss an episode, but it helps me as well for all kinds of reasons. To do that, all you have to do is go to the show page for Ideal Practice on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. There, just click on the plus sign that you'll usually find in the top right-hand corner, or click on the word follow that you're going to find somewhere there on that page. Of all the things, this really is the most important thing you can do for the podcast itself. While you're there, it would be extra special if you would be willing to give me a 5-star rating, and even better than that, a review with your own words. Your words matter. And when you write what you feel, what you think, you uplift and encourage others. And I love that. If you want to go a step further than that, take your favorite episode or two, one of the ones that has meant a lot to you, and share it with a friend. Could you do one or two of those things for me? I promise I will love you forever. You guys matter to me, and I value your support more than I can possibly say. Thank you, sweet friend, for anything you can do to help me out and support the show. I'll see you again soon.